Hey, what's up guys? So today I always want to talk about something, but however, before we begin, make sure you go like, subscribe, turn notifications so that way we'll get up to 4K, because I want to get up to 4K in a short amount of time. So make sure to go ahead and do that. And other than subscribing, let's just get started with the video. So apparently I'll be talking about an incident that happened back in May, and it has something to do with a teacher abusing a vulnerable toddler. Now when it comes to daycare workers and caretakers, they're at their daycare for the little kid's well-being. But instead you got some daycare worker abusing a vulnerable 3-year-old who he can't even speak. He's nonverbal and he can't even stand for himself. In other words, he can't stand up for himself. Anyways, instead of me doing the talking and the explaining, I got videos for you to watch that I found on TikTok. So just watch it and comment down below what you think.
I'm done! Put toys away! Now! I don't know. Table! I don't care! Sit down! No! You are not listening! You're taking a break! Don't look at her like she's gonna help you. I'm so tired of you. Huh? I did not tell you to get up. Come on, let's keep cleaning. This is what you're doing until our toys are picked up. Because all you do is make it worse. I'm trying to...
Okay, if you were aware of that video, if you kind of paid close attention to that video, you could probably tell that the teacher of that student ain't no making dang sense. And this is exactly why I am bringing none of my kids to any type of daycare, because stuff like that could happen, first of all. Now, I got more videos to show you, but here's one of them right now. Hopefully you get explained more about this next one.
A 3-year-old child with autism died in the nursery. The truth was astonishing. In May, Tara Williams, who had been busy all day, arrived at her son's daycare center, ready to pick up her 3-year-old son, Conrad Ashcraft, and take him home. But the staff member told her that Conrad had been sleeping since having his noon nap until now. When Tara found Conrad, he was covered with a thick blanket, lying face down and motionless. After the emergency personnel arrived at the scene, they found that Tara's body was stiff and cold, and she had been dead for several hours. After the police investigation, it was discovered that Conrad was punished at noon for not sleeping. A staff member sat on him until he stopped moving. It is reported that this nursery has received numerous complaints about such issues on multiple occasions. But the director of the nursery has always claimed that his staff's work fully complies with the procedures. At present, the daycare center has been temporarily closed, but no one has yet been criminally charged. Let us seek justice for Conrad, and may the deceased rest in peace.
So apparently the teacher was trying to be slick by putting him to sleep by sitting on him, and she sat on him, and she told, when the kid's parents got there, she told them that he was asleep. Now, let me just tell you something. Their worker thought she was slick, but the parents, they came in and got their son. Their son's body was unresponsive, and they took him to the hospital and stuff like that, and then he was pronounced dead, and he was buried at that daycare, I think. I swear to God, the daycare worker trying to hide some evidence. Now this next one is going to be a lot longer, so make sure you get ready for the video. Here it is.
Conrad Ashcraft would have been 4 years old today, but instead his mom Tara had to plan his funeral back in May after finding him deceased at the Poppy's Playhouse Daycare in Park Hills, Missouri. It was recently reported that his autopsy has been completed, yet Spring Gray and Tiffany Hedrick are still walking free. Now, if you don't know what happened to him, let me fill you in. Little Conrad was autistic and nonverbal, and on May 16th, his mom took him to the daycare like any normal day. But when she went to pick him up at 4:15 in the afternoon, she was told by staff that he's still taking his afternoon nap. She found him on the floor outside of a bathroom, laying face down on his belly, covered with a weighted blanket. And when she went to roll him over, he was cold, stiff, and blue. The dark blue, purplish color that he had indicates that he had already been gone for quite a while before she found him. She obviously began frantically screaming and crying while the staff member in the room went to go get Spring Gray, who's the daycare owner, who instructed that staff member to call 911. After EMS and police arrived, a witness overheard a conversation between one of the officers and this staff member who was in the room, Tiffany Hedrick, who was responsible for caring for Conrad that day. And she told the officer that Conrad didn't want to take his nap, so she put a weighted blanket on him and held him down until he was still. And she never went back to check on him. And not just that, but this is a practice that Tiffany Hedrick would commonly do to the children who didn't want to take a nap. And the daycare owner, Spring Gray, was allegedly aware and totally fine with it. So look, this is a copy of the complaint investigation. Let me read this part right here. On May 22nd, 2025, C.I. Graham observed the hallway where child A, that's Conrad, was napping and the mat that he was napping on. The hallway measured approximately 33.5 inches in width. The nap mat that child A was on was approximately 20 inches in width. This left about 13 inches of walking space around the mat where he was napping. The hallway leads to the bathroom, the back room for infants, as well as to the playground door. Children, caregivers, and parents would have had to have walked by child A while on his mat to get to the nursery or outdoor space or use the bathroom as a pass-by. This means however many people walked right by Conrad and nobody stopped to check on him for likely hours. Now, look at this part up here. On May 19th, 2025, C.I. Graham observed a video interview of group home provider Tiffany Hedrick conducted by law enforcement on May 16th. C.I. Graham observed Tiffany discussing the reenactment of the incident with child A. Tiffany stated that child A's mat was in the hallway located across from the bathroom leading to the nursery. Child A had been napping in this location for about a month because it was his comfort spot where he could hear the music playing from the main room and the nursery. Child A does not like nap time, and when he sees the mat out, he will begin whining and crying. She first laid child A on his back and tucked the sides of his personal blanket under his body, trapping his arms. But child A kept moving, so she turned child A over onto his stomach. She placed a weighted blanket over child A, covering half of child A's face up to his chin. Child A's face was turned towards the wall. Tiffany then placed one leg over child A's leg and sat with him until child A was asleep. Or, clearly in his case, no longer alive. Now, let me skip over to another page. This part right here. On May 21st, 2025, C.I. Graham observed the warning label from the weighted blanket used on child A on May 16th, 2025 at Poppy's Playhouse 2. The label read, "Warning, adult size and weight, not for use with children." This blanket weighed 18.2 pounds. So I have this entire document uploaded onto my Facebook, Abby Blabby True Crime and News, if you want to read it. I'm going to tell you right now, it's awful and it's going to piss you off, especially knowing that this little boy has not received any kind of justice for what has happened to him. Now, this is Spring Gray. She's the owner of that daycare, well, the former owner, and she was also a member of the city council, but she resigned after Conrad's death. And because she held a position there, the case was transferred to another jurisdiction. Now, neither Spring Gray nor Tiffany Hedrick have been arrested for Conrad's death, and that's because the autopsy hadn't resulted yet. They needed to show that he died due to suffocation. Well, the autopsy has been done, and still no arrests have been made. And before anybody asks, I don't know what that autopsy shows because that information isn't going to be released to the public. What do you guys think about this? My heart just breaks for his mom, Tara, because nobody is being held responsible for this little boy's death. At least not yet. Hopefully something happens soon and both of those women get put behind bars where they rightfully belong. And like I said at the beginning, today is July 29th, which means it's Conrad's birthday, and he would have been 4 years old today, but instead, he's forever 3.
So is this lady seriously trying to make a horror movie at a play school? So wait a minute, you're basically telling me that the teacher put the dead body in the bathroom and she put the body in a blanket, pressure blanket, until the parents came and the parents saw that his body was literally pale blue and he's been dead for a while. What the world? Moments later, the mom had to go plan a funeral for their son, and the funeral took place just outside the daycare, I think. And I think it had, with a bunch of bike riders, a bunch of random people, and a bunch of pedestrians that attended the funeral. And let me just tell you something. They were all over there thinking that, this shouldn't happen and stuff like that. I'm like, oh well, I hope the teacher gets arrested and stuff like that because of what she done, apparently. Oh, wait a minute. It wasn't at his daycare. It was at a little graveyard. What the world? And they're over there telling me that he died before his 4th birthday, which was July 29th. So he would still technically be 3. Bro, at 3 years old, you don't even know how old you are. And for the fact that he died, he probably didn't remember himself dying. Bro, I bet that little kid doesn't know that he's in a better place. Anyways, y'all, I still have a couple more videos for you to watch, so here's one of them.
A troubling Snapchat video has surfaced showing a childcare worker slapping a crying baby at an Affinity Education Centre in South Strathfield in Sydney. The incident, captured in a 9-second clip filmed by a colleague in May 2023, is one of hundreds of concerning cases recently revealed through newly released regulatory documents. The ABC obtained the footage as part of an investigation prompted by New South Wales Greens MP Abigail Boyd. Affinity Education, which operates 250 childcare centres across Australia, has come under scrutiny after records show more than 1,700 regulatory breaches occurred at its New South Wales facilities between 2021 and 2024. Former staff members have linked these issues to cost-cutting measures, citing dangerously low staff-to-child ratios and the hiring of young, untrained workers in place of qualified educators. The worker shown in the video was convicted of common assault, received a community corrections order, and was banned from working in childcare for 12 months. The colleague who filmed the incident later resigned.
So they would just be throwing anyone in there. Oh, hell no. So you telling me that lady trying to teach and see it? She literally just slapping a baby, but just gently though? And she looking like she doing it for views? I don't know what this girl thinks she is. She probably don't know how dumb she is. Because let me just tell you something. You try attention seeking by hitting little kids such as toddlers and infants. You hitting them gently. Bro, they'll be over there thinking that you're doing physical child abuse. And it could be up to like a license in prison. But this lady's still over there making a video looking like she trying to do it for views and likes and follows, whatever. Little does this lady know that like one of like authorities could watch it, then she can get a whole lot of trouble. So she probably doesn't know how dumb she is, but she dumb. Right. That's crazy, because if that was my kid getting treated like that, I'm going to the daycare, have a nice complaint with the teacher, taking my kid, never taking him to daycare again. So, the whole thing about this video, just because you see a child with special needs and playing with the toys differently, does this mean that you gotta do him dirty by sitting on him and then make him go to sleep, hiding him in the bathroom and making him look pale? Bro, if I had to be honest, they'll be throwing out anyone to like work at a daycare and anything. And let me just tell you something, not everyone is gonna be safe to kids. Just put it that way. And there are multiple teachers that are like that. Like, they'll like make a kid, because one time I saw a daycare video of them getting encouraged by their daycare worker to fight each one another, and they're just literally getting encouraged by their teacher to fight each other and everything. I'm like, wow, like, are we not gonna say this as a report or something? I mean, I guess they're just beating each other's selves off, right? Well, for some people, you gotta look at some people And because, you know, some people won't look at it as innocent as I see it as. I mean, I kind of do see it as innocent, but not really if they're, you know, nothing happened between them before they started throwing hands at each other. But gotta understand, everybody, not everybody's gonna look at that and say, oh, they're just fighting, because, you know, somebody might report the teacher that encourages that type of behavior, and apparently that can end up with the daycare worker being arrested and locked up. And let me just tell you something, that lady was for sure one of them. And let me just tell you something, she probably done the most, not gonna lie. But I've seen some other people like that too, so I don't know about that one now. And apart from that, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. So that means if you like this video, please subscribe, turn on notifications. As you can probably tell, I am getting really sleepy, so I'm gonna go hit the bed right now and everything. So like this video, like I said, do your da stuff, whatever. I don't care what y'all do, and I'll see y'all guys in the next video. Remember, 4K. Alright, see you in the next video.